think so.
Back at it again. Let's double check.
We're live.
We're
coming at you.
We are
live.
officially live. Got some internet stuff going on here, so we're trying to make sure we don't lose you guys. But welcome in, Chat 10 Sports. We are in a new place called My House.
Yes.
And we have a new banner here, compliments of our good friend Ian Ross Vance. Welcome in. We're actually talking some Tennessee Vols basketball. Got some Titans. We're going to have Matt Neely in. So if you're jumping in on Periscope or Twitter, stick around throughout. We're going to talk some Vols, maybe some Braves.
Yeah.
And then we will get her going, guys. What y'all got?
Well, per usual, we are a live show, and we want all your comments, any questions you got, anything negative you have to say about us, fire away. We want it around here. So come on in. Curdy boy?
Yeah, man. Platforms. Facebook. Twitter.
The Gram.
Spotify.
Yes.
The Gram. The Twitters.
Apple Podcasts.
Podcasts. iTunes. YouTube. But mainly, chat10sports.com. It's going to have all of that in one place. Got brand new articles up. One by my man Chase
The
Green.
man.
Yep.
We've got an awesome new Braves article up. Who did that one? Sims?
Andy Sims
Yeah.
today, and he
Mr.
is
Sims.
Man, always bring the knowledge, dude. So check it out, man. Tell us what you think. We want you commenting in during the show. Makes it go by a lot quicker
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes, makes it more fun for everybody.
when we have your take on things.
Yeah.
So,
But yes, welcome in, guys. And this is going to be a fun night because I know Matt Neely, obviously a very much beloved Titans fan in the Titans community. Going to jump in for that portion, talk some draft. The draft is less than a month.
Yeah.
So we're pushing it, guys, and also for just the sake of noting on this podcast and live show, Game of Thrones is less than 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So if you're ready for it, get your heart right, make your arrangements to watch the show. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about
Yep.
some episodes being a Monday show after a
watched the
Sunday
finale
night.
last night of the last season.
Did
Just
you cry?
yeah, a little bit.
Were you like Tyrion, like around the corner,
Yeah,
wondering what's really happening?
yeah, got
Yeah.
a
What
little
is
in the
this?
feels. you
Yeah,
know.
man, it gets you.
Next week I'll be down in right outside of Atlanta on my way to Augusta, Georgia, for a thing called the Masters. So
So, is that a little charity golf?
small charity golf event.
I've never actually heard of it before.
Kind of a goat track of a course. It's
Okay.
real
That's right.
terrible place.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I actually lived in Augusta for about 6 months. And the view down Magnolia,
Yeah.
it's like looking into heaven.
It is.
It's the green, because it's a weird part of town, and it's a little bit, not dangerous, but it's one of those things that you look inside there, and it's like streets of gold, and
Yes.
everything's cut with like a pair of scissors. But, man, it's absolutely beautiful. I'm sure we'll do a little coverage there. Kibby, we actually talked about Kibby taking his phone in, but I don't think they allow phones.
We never looked that up.
We have to
If
figure
anybody
it out.
knows,
I don't think they do.
I feel like they make you turn them off, or I
Maybe
don't know,
for
if
the
you're-
practice rounds.
If you're on them at all,
You just
get
can't
tossed.
shout like, get in the hole!
Yeah, yeah.
That's what you have
Tell
to
me
do.
I can't play tunes on my Bluetooth speaker while
Yeah.
I'm... Oh, okay.
Can't wear your
I'm
Dale
out.
Earnhardt cut off. And
I'm
your
done.
shorts.
I'm not going, man.
I'll go for you.
Masters isn't ready for me.
Well, cool. Let's jump straight in here. Obviously, this last week, March Madness is in the thick of it. We're going to do some March Madness first, and then we'll talk some Vols. Actually, let's flip that. Let's do
flip
some
that.
Vols.
Vols first?
Obviously, time in history and chronologically, the Vols took on Purdue, and unfortunately, obviously, the Vols went down by 5 in overtime. Very controversial call as time was expiring, basically. And that's, I guess, it's been a hot topic. But first off, give me your overall take of the game. Chase, we'll start with you. What did you think going in? Mid-game, obviously, first half wasn't ideal. And then second half, they kind of did the opposite of the Iowa game.
Yeah.
But what was your overall take?
So yeah, it's one of those that I honestly did not think they were going to score at that clip. I was thinking they're a 74 to 75 point type team, and the only games we've lost are by 80. Like if a team scored 80 or more on us, I was thinking, so we'll be all right in that aspect. Thought that we'd kind of handle them. I thought if you told me that Carson Edwards went 8 for 22 and only had 29 points, I'd be like, all right, we're going to win this game.
Yeah.
And, Lamonte did a great job on him. and 29 points was his worst outing of the tournament
so far.
So it's one of those that I thought, all right, we'll be fine. But there was that guy, Mr. Klein.
The Inhuman.
Oh my goodness. It looked like a video game, like a glitch in a video game. Like when he let it go, it was just automatically going to hit nothing but the bottom of the net.
And it was always that beautiful, like just that sound of just
just straight
absolutely
cash.
nothing but
As
net.
if there wasn't someone in his jersey with him.
Yeah.
The defense was pretty decent.
Yeah.
I mean, all around. At the end of the first half, we're down 12.
Mm-hmm.
And you would think we were
Here we go.
Yeah.
down like 30. The way that it looked.
Yeah.
They weren't missing. Tennessee wasn't hitting. Admiral Schofield had probably the worst half he's had all year in the first half of that game. Man.
We weren't getting it to him in deep. Nobody was getting any paint touches. It just looked bad, and you're like, what is this Vols team doing again? Rolling off another bad half from Iowa, and you're like, all right, well.
That Harms kid looks like he's one of the Monstars
Yeah.
from Space Jam.
We're making this 7 foot, 140-pound dude look like he's just all world. And, I mean, he's got that terrible haircut. And,
That's what I'm saying. He looked like one of those
yeah.
guys from Space Jam.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just had like that face. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm monitoring some comments here. Herb Goney comes in and says, should have never put the refs in the position to make the call at the last second.
No.
Also, Gavin
Won't
coming
go
in
with that.
saying the Vols are horrible at shooting free throws, and the foul at the end of the game was indeed a foul. When a player goes up for a jump shot, he has to be able to come down where he took off from Lamonte, bumped him, no doubt.
Yeah. It was.
I had a hard time, like, obviously I think the technicality of the rules is what kind of irritated me, where it's like, look, no obstruction of the ball, no contact prior to the release of the ball, and I think like Lamonte was saying, I think he kicked his leg out enough.
Time and time again.
Yeah, and actually I saw a tweet today where there was a replay of, I forget exactly which game it was. I think it was Virginia.
It was the Virginia game at the top of the key.
Yep.
Very, very similar
Exact
play.
same thing happened.
I think as time was expiring too.
Yeah.
And he didn't have time to come down and kind of bumps him with the hip. Because in real time, I was like, worst call ever. In
Yeah.
real time. I
It
was like,
looked
there was
so bad.
no way that
Because
was a
when
foul.
you turn like that, you
Yeah.
turn your back, you're like, okay,
And-
he avoided it.
And Monte did all he could do.
Yeah.
And now when you watch the replay, obviously everything's a lot easier to watch when
Yeah.
you're slowing it down, frames per second a lot slower. He did bump him with the hip.
Yeah.
Totally a foul. No one's, I don't think anyone's disputing that as much.
Yeah.
But live time, there's no way you're calling that foul. Especially at the very end of the game
Yeah.
when you know literally everything rides on it. I mean, if he hits all three of those free throws, game over.
Yeah.
No overtime.
But like Gavin said, man, it was free throw shooting. We shot 50%. From the line.
But so did they.
yeah.
There's the thing. We shot 48 point something percent. They shot 50%. Neither team shot well from the free throw line.
But even some of the stats, I thought it would be even threes, and I think it says a lot for the Vols to keep in the score and as far as keeping in the game when Klein is just draining three after three after three, that we find a way to just, if it's twos and maybe a three here or there, it's enough to execute your offense, to stick in the game. And it made me feel better through this weekend. Obviously, I think Virginia's out, right?
What?
Is Virginia out?
No, they just beat Purdue.
But UNC is out, and then Duke is out as well. So I'm like, okay, as stated on many episodes that we've talked about, the tournament becomes very real. Obviously at 16, but maybe before, where these are some solid teams, and
Everybody's good.
I think Purdue, obviously with Edwards kind of putting himself in the spotlight for that game, but also obviously Klein, which is Twitter was blowing up in the
Klein
sky,
went
just draining.
7 of 10 from three.
Yeah.
But as a team, Purdue shot 48.4%, and the ball shot 50%. Now they shot more threes.
Yeah.
But Klein may have been unconscious, but as a team, I mean, I think honestly he didn't have an off night, but Edwards was not his usual self.
No, it just goes to show you what kind of defense there.
Monte
mainly was playing.
Such a game changer, man.
Yeah.
I think I overlooked Lamonte coming into the year. I think last year, just some things he did, the way he played, made some lesser than smart decisions.
Yeah.
And so I kind of wrote him off as basically lightning in a bottle. He'll burn you just as quick as he saves you.
Yeah.
But I didn't give his defense credit, man. That's probably one of the best defensive guards in the nation this year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's one of those that everybody talked about coming to the game was, we've got an all-star matchup. even though Lamonte's going to take and make your big shots,
Right.
he doesn't have the same skill set as a Carson Edwards. But they are very head first bulldog type of point guard, shooting guard, whatever you want to call those, the combo guard. So, you have these two guys, and Lamonte was clearly coming into this game as a lockdown defender, just gave Buchanan all he wanted and much more. And obviously you could see the frustration that he caused him. But yeah, it's just one of those that we did not defend that little dribble handoff very well. They executed well. Not taking anything away from Purdue. Like we didn't defend it well.
Yeah.
The refs weren't going to let us start bullying to battle through those screens, is what they call it, I guess.
Yeah, that was frustrating. A couple calls on Bowden there at the top of the key, trying to squeeze in, and you can't. I know, but like at the same time, kind of felt like they were moving a little bit too.
Oh, of course, yeah.
What are you supposed to do in that scenario?
So
you're supposed to beat to the gap. You're supposed to beat your guy to the gap when you see the screen coming, or feet under, and you're
either way, because and then a lot of times Kyle Alexander got himself where he didn't commit to either side and just screwed us over. No, it's so on those they were starting to slip the big fella, and that's supposed to be the backside guy's help. But Kyle was also in a position where he was playing like he was going to go back into it, and then he didn't. He didn't even hedge out, so they had a shooter, or they had the roll, and it just kind of cost us too many buckets.
Grant got burned on that slip once or twice.
Yeah, but
that huge dude.
Matt Harms, the guy. I think he's from Switzerland. If I saw something.
Switzerland or Sweden, something with an S.
Amsterdam.
Yeah. But 7'3", obviously he's huge, 250, which. He had a good game. I thought, I mean, he held his own, and it wasn't just the Klein and the Edwards show. I mean, he really, and especially for the Vols, I know a lot of people have complained about their weakness being in the paint. That second half, it seemed like Grant, and even Admiral were really getting down, and playing some physical ball. Which I mean, you don't want to lose, but if you have to lose, they went down to the wire. Obviously, with overtime. They showed the heart, and I know we did. We tried to do a little reaction since we had some new house Wi-Fi, getting everything hooked up correctly. But yeah, our initial reaction. I mean, it made a lot of Vols fans so proud just to be able to obviously compete to the very end of it. Did not go the way you wanted to go, but man, they went out fighting for sure. By the way, if you're watching on Facebook or Periscope, do us a favor, share the show for us. Obviously, like we were saying before, we love the comments coming in. Herb Gundy comes in after Edwards' 40-plus game another other day. Hats off to Turner to keeping him somewhat in check, which we talked about last week.
I think he had a big toe injury, too, if I'm not mistaken. They referenced it in the game.
Yeah.
Some sort of just, spraying on his big toe that may have even hindered him a little bit.
Yeah.
It wasn't visible, but
yeah.
I saw a Bleacher Report article leading up to the game that said, best matchups in the Sweet 16, and it had Bone in Edwards. And in my head, I was like, that's not how that's going to go down at all.
Yeah.
I was thinking, they may be playing against each other, and Bone may have more notoriety than Lamonte at this point, but I knew he wouldn't be guarding him for the most part.
For sure not. And it's tough, but yeah, to reference Herb also, that 40-point game that he had yesterday where he was absolutely unconscious as well, was against the best defensive team in the nation. So it's just hats off to Carson Edwards, man. That guy made himself a lot of cash this week.
I will say, I know for me, and we've talked about this a lot, but I have not been the biggest college basketball fan. But this March Madness, watching the Vols, obviously there's a little bit of bias there. But even yesterday's games, it's what sports are there for. You know, and this is obviously why it's so popular. But man, speaking of the actual overall tournament, not just the Vols. Pulling up the bracket right now, we've got Michigan State, Texas Tech, Virginia, and Auburn still in it. Right off the bat, and if you're watching as well with us, give us your opinion. But who are you picking to win from here?
Curdy?
Man, I think, Michigan State rides this momentum at this point. I thought North Carolina was a shoe-in the way that they were playing coming into the tournament. I had them in my... I told y'all I did one bracket with my heart and one with my head. My one with my head's in the top 90 percentile in the nation. I got Texas Tech and Michigan State in the Final Four, but I had UNC and the Vols on the other side. And that, of course, is wrong. But I think at this point, Tom Izzo's got that team playing. They always say guard play is so big. come March. I mean, that's probably one of the better point guards in the tournament overall.
Yeah.
If you take all the teams.
Cassie was big time day yesterday. 20 and 10, 1 turnover.
Yeah,
solid. Dude.
Pretty hard to beat.
Yeah.
What do you think?
God, it's funny. I'm gonna agree with you there. They were showing the stat today. I think how many Final Fours does Izzo have? Like 6, and then everybody else is first timers. So
Wow.
Tony Bennett's first one, Bruce's first one, Texas Tech's first one.
Question. Do you? I still kind of halfway root for Bruce Pearl. Is that wrong with me?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
I've heard a lot of people like, oh, well, it's his first one,
Yeah.
and it's just
that.
like I always liked the guy when he was at UT. I think he kind of had to fall on the sword for a couple minor infractions, but I still halfway root for him. I have no qualms.
I
with
like him.
I guess
Yeah.
it's maybe if he was at Alabama, it'd be different. But since it's the War Eagles, and who I give even less of a care about than anyone else in the West, other than actually all of them.
Yeah.
I'm happy for the guy.
I know what he is. Like, you know he's kind of a, let's be honest, he's kind of a crummy, sketchy recruiter. And,
Right.
Like, you know
He's
what
got a
he is.
big heart, man. He's a
big
coach's
heart.
player.
And he's fun to watch. Yeah, I kind of like it.
I like his
Player's coach.
Yeah, I mean, his attitude, his ability, obviously, to connect with players, but you just see his passion on the court. He's sweating up a storm, throwing his jacket off. I mean, he's got the fire, and
Those are some of my favorite captions.
Oh, yeah.
I think I saw Trey was like when the pre-workout kicks in. And it's like there was less dry on his shirt than wet,
Yes.
and it was maybe 5 minutes into the game. I don't even know.
I don't know how you go up with your armpit sweat. Or it's his back sweat.
Yeah,
I guess it's all consuming.
It's boob sweat.
Start from the top
just
and go
boob
up.
sweat.
Moob sweat.
But as far as top players, obviously Zion, there's quite a few that are obviously going to the draft. But where do you guys think? I mean, are there any guys that could potentially come back? I know for the Vols, there's quite a few. But just any team out there, I know there's obviously UNC, there's guys, Duke being out as well, and there's obviously the remaining teams as well. Do you see any guys that potentially could come back, or is everyone going to make some cash money?
The only potentials, I mean, I guess for the Vols, Jordan, Bone, and Grant are both a little iffy.
Yeah.
I think both of them, weirdly enough, I think it may be more Bone 60-40 going to the draft.
Yeah.
And I think Grant's kind of 50-50.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting to see who leaves this Kentucky team as well.
Yeah.
They were out probably a little earlier than they wanted to be, earlier than a lot of people expected them to be. Early on, you didn't see Tyler Hero in any of the first round. Now you start to see him around 25 on a lot of the mock drafts. There's a lot of, obviously, talent, as always, on a Cal team.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see who sticks around there. Virginia is mainly upperclassmen, are they not? I know the guy.
Cal guy.
That guy. He's, a junior? Senior?
I think he's a junior.
Okay.
Yeah. He's got a chance, and they also have, I forgot that dude's name. But anyways, there's a ton of first-round talent. Cassius Winston, I think, will find a spot in the NBA. He's not the most athletic, but, I mean, he's a lethal point guard. It's tough to say. I hate comparing guys like that, but, I mean, especially to that level. But he's Chris Polish, uses his body well, not freak athlete. He's not going to sky rise over people. But legit score, the old man game, floaters, fadeaways, work you in the paint. There was a couple of shots he made yesterday. I don't even know if he jumped off the floor. It's like, is that the dude from the YMCA that I played last week? He's one of those.
DeAndre Hunter.
Hunter,
Yes.
yeah. Couldn't think,
He can play.
You got Hunter and Culver from Texas Tech, both looking.
Culver's going to be probably lotto.
Yeah, both
edge
those
lotto.
guys are going to be in top 10. So I know they're two Hawks preview picks. So that's why I gotta.
That's what I remember. The guy from Texas Tech, you just
Culver,
said, Culver being on a lot of the early mock drafts for the Grizzlies at wherever they're going to land.
Yeah, in that 5 to 7 range. So.
And we've talked about before the show with the NFL draft. Let's see, coming up. Obviously, the orange and white game for the football team up in Knoxville. Little team's still working up there. I feel like they've been a little kind of upstaged, if you will, for the Vols. But just to put a little bit of an emphasis and I guess focus on football, any ideas as far as what you're looking for going into the orange and white game? I don't know if we're actually physically going to be there. Obviously, we'll watch.
Yeah.
But I know there's been some talk, and they've just recently, I know some stories have been breaking as far as, certain guys and how they're adjusting to practices. There's been a little bit of a talk. I guess someone's trying to cook up a little bit of a quarterback competition.
Yeah.
I think JG is the guy, but I want to see him just off the top. My biggest thing I'll be watching is quarterback play. I want to see him continue his positive strides, and I want to watch the offensive line very closely.
That's the main thing is the O-line, and I want to see, man, you've had time to put some work in during the off season, weight room, things like that. Let's see what some of these guys look like. See if they're a little quicker, things like that. So.
Yeah, I put very little weight, though, usually in the spring game. Except for that year they came out and just looked completely awful. I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Was it Bush's last year, or was it?
I think it was Pruitt's first year.
Was it Pruitt's first year? Was it last year?
Last year. That was the talk of the town. I had no expectations.
Yeah, that was what it was. I mean, no one's expectations were super high coming into that game, but leaving that game, I think everybody was on eggshells.
And I think
for sure.
Just coming out of the coaching search, that whole 30 for 30 to be that period. I mean, obviously it was pretty dark. Obviously, with the coaching changes, I know Ansley's DC now. I want to see. I mean, even just tempo. I'm sure Pruitt will be yelling himself blue in the face. But I'm excited to get back into it. Obviously, it's been a lot of fun watching the basketballs go. But even it's already April. It's going to be fall before we know it.
I think they only get what is it, 20 practices in spring or something like that?
Something around those numbers. I can't remember what the exact number is, but it is.
Can't see a lot. I don't think they allow them to do so many consecutive days with contact or pads.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's not. I don't put much weight in the spring game. It's more to get a first look, I think, at the team. Mm-hmm. Maybe something more for the boosters and the season ticket holders.
Little things like who's worked in the office. You can see physical changes.
Right.
Maybe that's really all
I do want to see a lot from the line this year, though.
Oh yeah.
Defense and offense.
Yeah, I was going to say both sides because Aubrey Solomon. I know there's been some clips of him on Twitter. Just on
Emmett Gooden. Let's see what he gets into this year.
I'm not putting my
last chance U action.
Yeah, I'm not putting my bar up high for. I know I've been optimistic in saying 8 and 9 wins. The schedule looks very much, in the Vols' favor.
Yeah.
But even like Henry To'oto, Quavaris Crouch, Al Wilson 2.0, if you will.
Yeah.
I want to see some Quavaris
I want to
Crouch.
see these young guys step up, and it was a great recruiting class, but also one of those things like I don't want to put too much on them out of the gate to think that we're going to be a national powerhouse in the next year.
Yeah.
So.
What do you think going forward? Do you think next year, going back to basketball, do you see us being preseason top 25? Do you see us finishing in the top 25?
I do.
For basketball?
Oh,
next year?
I'm sorry.
For basketball, we were switched back, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on who comes back. I still think we're going to be, okay, even if...
All right, best case scenario, Grant comes back and Bone.
Grant and Bone?
Definitely.
For sure, yeah. I think...
Either or, I think still...
Yeah.
There's grounds for it.
It would be better if Grant... Bone obviously is a very important thing for us, but we do have some guard play, with Lamonte and Bowden, and...
I'm just thinking...
what happens?
I'm not too worried about Folke at the 5, but if you're playing Walker at the 4...
Walker's going to will be the 5, and Folke would be the 4.
Oh, really?
And then Josiah James could play both.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I thought he was more of a wing player.
He is, but I mean, it's small ball college. That's how it.
I've seen very little promise out of Walker and what little minutes he's got this year. And then we had somebody that was redshirted, right?
Yeah, the longer the lanky spacer shooter center. I think he's a pick and pop type.
I think Fulkerson will another off season with the strength coach doing drills. I think he kind of loses some of the. We all talk about how he kind of looks like the inflatable wavy arm guy. He's everywhere. And so I think another year with the college coaches, the strength coaches, working on his coordination, He could be a force, man. You don't know.
You never know.
He's got the heart.
He lost the weight.
Yeah.
So maybe next year might be the transitional year where he picks up the athleticism to go and he figures out his body. He's not going to be the husky guy that pushes people around anymore. So yeah, we'll see. It'd be really nice to have Grant back. Have these guys come in and get the new guy in, and then also with Josiah James, lefty, didn't play great in the McDonald's All-American game. Actually went over, but that's one of those things. Nasir Little played. He was the MVP last year and wound up being a solid contributor, but lost a lot of spots in the draft.
You think Pons
is going to have to really. That's another.
I think Pons coming back in just another year of training. If he could just hone his shot a little bit of offense.
Just have an aggressive nature about him,
Yeah.
Because he should be a guy that can get to the rim at any time, even if it's just a little lefty sleep through and does his thing.
Yeah,
you just got to.
You want him out there on defense, rebounding, altering shots, plugging the lane. But if he's going to be offensive liability, it's kind of hard to start him.
It is, yeah. So he's the person that's got to take the next leap, I think.
I know we're getting close to our time here with Matt Neely. I'm going to get him called in, and then probably just straight off the top. Like we said, NFL draft's coming up here. It's going to be in Nashville. There's been a lot of preparation work, a lot of talk as far as getting – and we'll talk more about it with Matt in specifics, but getting stages set, getting everything as far as team ready. I know there's been special Coach Vrabel's been at the special ed events at the stadium this last week. But let's get Matt pulled up here, and then we're going to hit him with some draft questions, what his expectations are here, and we'll go from there. And we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
Hello.
Matt, what's going on, man? How are you?
What's going on, dude?
This is Trey. Welcome in to Chat 10 Sports. Obviously, I'm thinking everyone who's watching this knows who you are. I want to give him a plug just to say if you don't follow Matt Neely on Twitter, you're missing out.
Missing a good time.
Significantly.
I thought a shout out for Kurt, dude. I took astrology with Kurt. I had no idea until today.
We learned some things together.
Yeah.
Or maybe not.
Life lesson.
You don't test together.
We did. We really did. We worked well together.
I made 1B in college, and it was in astrology. So there's no debate that we cheated.
Thank you, Bonnie. Matt could see her test, and I could see his. It was perfect.
Yeah. It was perfect. We both would have got the wrong answer. So.
Yeah, we actually found out prior to the show that Matt and Kurt went to UTC together here in Chattanooga. What a blast. I'm sure you guys, they're cut from the same cloth. I just can tell. Both pretty awesome guys. But Matt, welcome in, man. Thanks so much for joining us. Obviously, NFL draft's coming right around the corner. I'm sure you're excited to get over downtown, raise some hell, and have some fun down there. But just jumping straight into just a Titan talk, man. What are you looking for at 19? What's your ideal pick at 19 if we stay at 19?
Well, I mean, I think they're in the spot to where they can just draft best available, right? And that's what everyone says. I agree with that. But what I think they're looking at and what I think they value the most is edge rush. I actually spoke with Mike Keith just 2 days ago, not to big time anybody, but it was kind of an accident. But Mike Keith told me, I said, dude, who are they taking right now? If you thought. And he said Brian Burns out of Florida State, right?
Oh,
so
wow.
I went back and looked at his film. I had never heard of him because I don't do draft stuff because I hate it. But it turns out Brian Burns on film looked exactly like Harold Landry. He's got the same moves, and I think they value edge rush more than just about any other position. But if not an edge rusher like him or Ed Oliver, I think that I would lean towards Bradbury, the center, and I can't remember his school. Maybe Boston College. It's like a scarlet and gold.
Yeah.
But I think the interior line is probably the other position they should address.
Yeah, I know for me, my dream pick is Ed Oliver. In the last week, it's just been, obviously I think Twitter's blown up with him. I think he was visiting Nashville. But even his workouts and his pro day, I mean, it's been the comparisons to Aaron Donald, and to think if this guy gets next to Jarrell Casey and Daquan Jones and Harold Landry, it's like that's a pretty big step up for the defensive line. I know for like my second pick on the offensive side is Garrett Bradbury, which he's been a hot topic as well. Yeah, what about you guys? What's your ideal pick, Kurt?
Man, is it bad that I'm not punting on Ja'Kai Polite just yet?
It is
I mean,
bad. It's very bad.
I'm not saying necessarily there. I would like to see more, honestly, and I'm going to get hung for this, but I'd like to see Noah Fant.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the tight end pick first round, and then get a Ja'Kai Polite or that Ferguson kid from La Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody as an edge rusher in the second round, just because it's such a deep defensive draft. I want to see, obviously, a little bit more help for Marcus. And so whether that comes with a receiver or a tight end, just somebody he can throw the ball to on a regular basis and contribute.
Yeah, that's kind of mine too. I think it's going to be with the edge rushers this year. It's kind of how the wide receivers were a couple years ago, or 2 years ago. I think they're just going to be all gone in the first 12 to 13 picks. So we're going to have to almost go with best available, and it's going to be a Garrett Bradbury or a Noah Fant. And I would like either one. I think that would just kind of help us out. I wished Burns would fall to the 19, or God, if we get out Ed Oliver. But I just think it's going to be one of those. They're going to all be gone so early because it's such a heavy draft with studs.
Yeah. So Matt, who is your guy that you want the Titans to avoid at all costs?
That is, I wish you would have told me that so I could have thought about some names that I didn't know. That's tough. I've looked at some mock drafts. How about this? I hope they avoid one of the Iowa tight ends because there's no chance on earth both of them are going to be good, right?
Right.
So maybe, how about just one of those? Or how about Drew Lock? How about I just call it safe and just say, let's not draft that Missouri quarterback?
We don't want that guy.
That is very true. Very, very true.
We don't want that. So I think I'm going to stick with that, yeah. Player to avoid, Drew Lock.
Okay.
I think, I would like for us to get a backup quarterback at some point, even just to potentially, if all goes to hell and Mariota gets cut for some reason or they don't extend him and Tannehill's there, get somebody that they can maybe give some time to and then draft somebody next year. But as far as free agency, Matt, what are you thinking and what are you liking about the signings thus far, and do you think they're going to do anything else?
I think one thing that was really important to me early on was the fact that we've had no backup quarterback at all, right? Gabbert was awful. They literally ran Derrick Henry at quarterback. That was their big idea, right? So I thought that the move for Tannehill and replacing him with Gabbert with literally no penalty at all, and that move was a pretty awesome job by John Robinson. So I actually think that that's the most important move they've made because I like Ryan Tannehill. I mean, if you're going to get a player that's more injury prone than Mariota, it's going to be Ryan Tannehill. But I mean, two of them, they can't both get hurt at the same time, right? Please. But I think that was really important. And I really like the Cameron Wake signing because he's not done yet, and I think he's got a lot of things that are similar to what Delaney Walker went through, right? So Delaney Walker had he was a kick returner. He was a fullback for the 49ers. And then Wake was, overseas, or not overseas, sorry, I forgot Canada as a bonus. And he's a little older, but I don't think his production, I know it dropped off next to Sue with Sue gone, but I just think that that's going to be a huge signing, so I love that. And then obviously Adam Humphries, what can I say that Merrill Hodge doesn't look like,
Yeah. That took me a second. For me, I agree 100%. I really like Wake a lot, even at 37.
Oh, yeah.
I know our guy Paul Kaharski's probably complained more about, what's his name, Darren Bates, the linebacker who's putting on his radio. And I don't know if they need veteran leadership per se, but I think he's a guy that can immediately provide it. But also his production, even with Arakpo going and Morgan going, I think he could be a guy that could really, step in and do that for the Titans. But hey, we've got on our table right here with us, we have all three sections of Tennessee, East, West, and Middle represented. And since you've spent time in two of those, would you rank those from worst to best?
I hope you're talking to me because I'm going to have to correct you, Trey. My family's from West Tennessee. They're from Jackson.
You are all three. You are the.
I tell you what. Here's the thing about Chattanooga. I miss that place more than any other place that I would call home, right? Like, I just moved to Nashville like 2 months ago. I grew up in Murfreesboro, so I'm going to have to put West Tennessee third, but only because Middle Tennessee is the best and East Tennessee is my favorite. So does that make any sense to you guys? Because it shouldn't. I love things like West Tennessee, like Jackson State Community College. Just you can meet some good old people there, and then you can go to Casey Jones Village in Jackson. And Henderson doesn't even have internet, but I love it. And then you've got East Tennessee, which is probably my favorite place on the planet, and then home in Middle. So I hope that's fulfilling.
Dude, I just learned something about you. But yeah, that's Kibby's from Memphis, I'm from Nashville, and Chase is from Dayton out here. But like you said, I've loved Chattanooga.
I don't think any of us disagree with those rankings.
Yeah.
Even Kurt being from there does not disagree with those rankings.
Yeah, if we're ranking on the land and how flat it is, I mean, West Tennessee is going to win that battle.
Yeah, that's right. We got
So it just depends on how we word it. Really,
really good water out there.
great water.
Is the drive from Nashville to Memphis top 5 worst drives in the country?
Yeah, I think if we go to hell and hell is the worst place that you've ever actually been, it's that 3-hour drive would last for eternity.
That's how you get in the gateway.
I don't know this is a better question. Not to dominate your show and
far away, dude.
Is the drive from Knoxville to Nashville worse than the drive from Nashville to Memphis?
No chance.
No chance.
I don't know. Once you hit 440, you're like Mad Max. Like, you just know it's going down.
There's no turning back. I will say, going from Atlanta to Macon,
that's
a rough one.
Oh my gosh! And I haven't spent much time on 40 going towards Memphis. As a kid, we went to the zoo down there, and I mean, I don't have enough memory to remember that, but I can imagine what that's like just comparing to Macon. So, all right, Matt, let's open up the can of worms, man. Cherry blossom trees, it's causing all types of hell in Nashville. People are losing it. I'm sure bread and milk at the stores is being ripped off the tables. It's a travesty, man. Tell me, and obviously we invited Paul Kaharski, which he did not accept. Luckily, Matt jumped in. But give us your, I listened to him on 104.5 today. I'd like to hear your rebuttal to his argument about these 10 or 20 or however many trees that are being taken out.
Okay, I mean, it's pretty simple. They're trees. So that's all I've got there on that. They're just little trees.
Hot take.
The city of Nashville is going to make like $150 million off of this.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they're 10 trees. So that's important to remember that they're 10 trees, right? They're 10 individual trees, and I went down there today. I tried to interview them. They didn't say anything, so honestly, cut them down.
Yeah, man. If they don't fight for themselves, then why would I fight for them?
Like, I get it. I get that side of things. Like, why am I going to fight? Here's the thing. First off, they won't talk to the media. Second of all, they're just trees. So I really think that people should just kind of... What this really boils down to is that everyone's got a lot of time on their hands, right? Now that we've got phones that can pretty much do the job for us, and computers, you got like 6 hours of free time a day. And so some of those people like to, cause commotion in bad ways, like the tree people, and the others like me and you, Trey, and all of you guys, we like to do it in other ways, like rig, internet voting contests and do nonsense like that. And so, like, when it comes down to it, there's two things. One, there's trees. Two, no one gives a crap. You told me not to cuss.
Hey, you're good. Great correction.
That's my take. The draft is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's trees.
Yeah.
I've never noticed those trees. I lived here pretty much my whole life, like 5 or 6 years.
I agree. I grew up there. I came here in 2010. I don't even know where I know where Riverfront Park is. I've seen those trees because I have to walk across the walking bridge to go to the Titans games. I could not tell you one time that I've stopped to really observe or consider these beautiful cherry blossoms that all of a sudden Nashville's full of full-time arborists and I guess hippie colonies as well. But yeah, man, I get it. At the same time, it almost makes me like I'm not jumping to the point of thinking, well, the NFL and whoever else is never going to come back because these people complained. I know Kaharski's, PK is basically saying that it seems like there's a back deal table or whatever. I'm thinking, dude, who cares, man? Like you said, they're trees. I'm all about it. I said even on Twitter today, I don't care if they dig up the Ryman, move it for a week, and then put it back. It's like it's gonna be okay.
I don't know about that.
No, talk about
really
Ryman
doing
now.
too much.
I love the Ryman, obviously, but that's my point is, like you said, $150 million in tourism.
It's historical.
It's well worth it in my mind.
I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
To get that.
Yeah, and you also have to remember that they're trees.
They're trees.
That's also a good point. But here's a question for you Nashvillians. Did y'all even know that there was a Cherry Blossom Festival every year?
I sure did not, but I hate that I've missed it all these years.
It sounds like a hell of a time. Like,
living there for 3 years, you tell me I didn't know about the Cherry Blossom
I'm
Festival.
sure the spike in bachelorette parties that come in town for just the Cherry Blossom Festival is just astronomical.
I think that's actually why they call it the Cherry Blossom.
Yes.
Because all the bachelorette parties come in there to see it.
blossoming.
Well, as Miss Tracy Shafroth always puts, we don't plant trees for ourselves, guys. We plant trees for our grandchildren. So.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't you plant them somewhere else? Because there's a damn NFL draft
We
happening.
got a draft going on.
We're trying to make a future of football happen here in Nashville. Oh man. Well, Matt, it's been fun, man. I know. Usually we'll do a couple agree or disagrees, and I might throw a couple things at you here. But agree or disagree with this: the Houston Texans suck.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with that. And they're really looking needy nowadays.
They are.
Man.
They're struggling.
I know obviously the uniform debate. There was a guy from Houston. I think they actually have a change.org petition forming. I'm thinking, what's the reasoning? Obviously, Amy Adams Strunk has no desire or intrigue to give the Houston Oilers the uniforms. I hope that we wear them all 16 games this year.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If we can swing it somehow.
We should be the Nashville Oilers. I mean, I'm down with it.
Just change it.
That would be awesome. Honestly, at the end of the day, I think that I kind of side kind of similarly about this issue as I do with the trees, because it's never going to happen. They're retired until the 50th anniversary. Like they did the 50th of the AFL, so I guess the 100th anniversary. I don't really know what happened, but why we were wearing those jerseys, but they were awesome.
Yep.
They're never going to be worn by the Texans again, or ever, because that would make no sense. And I think that I just like really pointing out people that are bitching about it because they're saying,
Yeah. They are. They're no longer the Oilers. I don't know if they know that.
now I think that logo is awesome. I mean, if they were a full-time jerseys, I would be all in. It would make no sense.
Yeah.
They're just so nice.
But
They're
they are
just so beautiful.
They are that baby blue has grown on me tremendously in the last week.
Yeah.
I liked them before, but now I love them just so we can shove them in the Texans' face. But yeah, man, I think from what I've heard, the Bears and the Eagles are trying to get their retro jerseys back. So I don't know if it's a cool thing the league's trying to do and get the retro alternates going. But yeah, hopefully that's been put to bed, and hopefully this tree deal will be put to bed here soon.
Are the Houston Texans kind of like reaching out? They see that Nashville is like the hot new girl, and their uniforms, and their stuff are with us.
They just want something
So
to
now
do
they're
with
just
it.
like trying to like get all mad and like throw out some old pictures of us, and I don't know.
Seems a little
I
hateful.
mean, maybe. It just seems like they're just like really annoying, and that's why all of us are now like, oh yeah, like hell yeah. The Texans are into this, and they can't have it. So we're like that. You're exactly right. We're like that hot girl that just wants you to be around enough so that the other guy will like her, and then you'll just end up sad like me. Like pretty much that's my life.
Yeah.
So Matt, what's your plan for the draft? I'm sure you'll be downtown. Any plans for videos or anything going this year?
As of now, we've got a lot of people coming in, like flying in, like friends that you probably know around like the Titans Twitter sphere. I'm gonna probably be drinking a lot with those boys. We got a couple staying with me. So as of now, the only place I'm gonna microphone, camera with Titans Film Room. We've got those two items, and so we're gonna go downtown and like try to make something like we've done the last two times, and it's not worked out perfectly, but I think this time it's probably gonna be worse than that because I'm gonna be drinking a lot.
I'm looking forward to the good cuts.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm even looking forward to that more than actually myself being there. So.
Yeah, that's
Are
actually
y'all
the birthday
also
weekend.
gonna be down there?
We're aiming to all be there.
Yeah,
We're shooting
Absolutely.
for it. It's going to be a blast. I plan to be there for the first pick. I think we might be in and out through the weekend. But yeah, man, we'll have to hook up with you and maybe get on the video, maybe have a few beers with you too. But
I mean, I thought about just throwing a Titans Twitter party at my house, but it would just be like 600 guys. And that's not cool all the time. You know?
That's just bro fest.
But I love them all.
Hey,
Take them
man.
all in.
Well, man, we appreciate it, brother. Thanks so much. And for everybody watching, in case you don't follow Matt on Twitter, it's Matt Neely _. It's a must for all Titans fans, obviously making Tennessee proud. And again, I had no idea. Family from West, you're in Middle now, and you went to school here in East Tennessee. But Matt, going to give you a couple seconds here, but give us something good going on in your life right now.
Yeah, I met John Robinson, so that's pretty much it, guys.
And Coach Matt.
No, actually, I met John Robinson and Mike Vrabel and Amy Strunk, so I met the whole Trinity.
Oh, my God.
I finished off the Trinity on Saturday, and that's it. Other than that, my life is a hellscape.
Did you get Did you get any draft knowledge? Did you touch the garment of John Robinson and felt his plans for the draft?
Well, I did just I misspoke there. I met Vrabel on Saturday. I have met all the other ones, the other part of the Trinity. I got Dave McGinnis to sign my breasts. That was really exciting for me personally. I just thought that it would be funny. But I actually, this little bit of knowledge I gained Saturday at Sports Fest was fantastic. So I will pass on to you guys. So on Saturday, Mike Keith told a story about the first game the Titans played at Buffalo against the Bills after the Music City Miracle. And essentially they had the option to introduce the offense, defense, or special teams. And so Jeff Fisher opted to introduce special teams. And the first three players that came out of that tunnel the year after they played the Titans and lost were Lorenzo Neal, Frank Wycheck, and Kevin Dyson.
That's awesome.
I thought that was like one of the most amazing things I've
So
ever heard.
hard. Oh.
Yeah, and it was amazing. So I heard that story, and I want to find a way for everyone to know that story, especially Bills fans, which we will let them know.
Yeah, they may beat us in that stupid Fox Sports poll, but we will always have the Music City Miracle.
All right, brother. Well, we appreciate it, man. I'll try and see if we can hook up with you for the draft. But have a good night and tighten up, brother.
Good night, my friends.
See you, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Wow, what a good dude. Again, he's hilarious. He's the meme maker. If you've not, and actually, I saw him today put up a post. They're going to have a bracket for the Titans memes, and I'm very intrigued and excited for that.
They?
The whole RPO podcast family, I think Matt's on it, and I think Music Miracle's on there. And then he was saying Titans Film Room on Twitter. I mean, some of the best follows if you're a Titans fan for Titans Film Room's putting out incredible content as far as highlights, even game threads about players. Mike Miracles is awesome. Yeah. Jimmy Morris is on there. There's probably guys I'm not naming right now, but just go on our lists on Twitter and just start following everyone who has a Tighten Up post. But guys, let's hit some agree or disagree here. This week we got about 10 minutes, so we'll try and make this a little fun here. But agree or disagree is our segment where you jump in, and every time that we do this, you can comment along with us. We're going to take a hot take, throw it out, and you tell us what you think. But fellas, agree or disagree. And talking about the Braves, they're actually playing right now. But without changing their bullpen, the Braves will not compete for the NL East.
I'm going to have to agree. This weekend showed a lot. I mean, I know that we've still got some young talent. It's their first go-arounds in the league this last weekend against a tough Phillies team.
Really good Phillies team.
But I think we're going to have to figure something out. Maybe get some little deal here and there because we've still got some struggle bus going on. So,
Yeah, 100% agree. I'll even go one step further. Bullpen is terrible. Starting rotation is not a whole lot better.
Even with Fulton Newitt's out, I know
Fulte coming back will be huge. But we still don't have that bell cow. We don't have the guy that we can, in the playoffs, start twice in a series. Or if it's a must-win, like a wild card game, throw him on the bump and just ride him through the playoffs. We don't have that guy.
Right. And it showed last year.
Yeah,
we put
showed
the
last year.
Because it's like they have a great bullpen.
And I was really hoping it was Dallas Keuchel. We were going to go out and spend big on him. It looks like he's going to go to San Diego with Machado and a couple other cats. They seem to be the front runners as of today. I really just wish the Braves would go out and just pay money for him.
Oh, yeah. And I guess my question for you and for Braves fan and Chase as well, obviously, but for Anthropoulos in the offseason, are you in the point now where it's like, all right, I'm going to bite my lip, let's trust the process, trust what he is seeing in the behind the scenes, or are you in panic mode after 0-3?
I'm not in panic mode because I know he knows what he's doing. I do wish maybe he was a little more aggressive in bettering the pitching staff specifically.
Yeah.
I don't think our bats are incapable of hanging in the NL East, which is stacked now. I don't know if you said you watched some of that Philly series you did too.
Yeah.
That lineup with JT Realmuto and Bryce Harper in it now.
Even McCutcheon's, it's like the old guy putting in a couple.
Yeah, because he doesn't have to be the guy.
No,
like last year, and when he went there, he had to be the guy. I feel like he was the star. Reese Hoskins probably came on towards the end of the year, as solidifying himself as the best player on that team. But now they got Bryce. And
he has not missed a beat, by the way.
Yeah, well, he went 0 in the opening.
The first,
he got booed.
That first homer was absolutely
but that first one was
a rocket.
He got the curtain call.
Yeah,
you're not gonna see many balls hit harder than that ever. He's a stud. I can't stand him, but
I hate that guy.
I think I like him slightly more outside of the Washington Nationals. I don't know what it is. I just dislike the Nationals.
I think you're going to grow to dislike him just as much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I've got plenty of time. That's for sure. But yeah, man, we were not going to compete in that league this year. The Mets have gotten better. The Marlins are tanking, but so what?
Yeah.
But the Phillies and the Nationals are going to be right there. I mean, at the top. It's going to be tough.
I know Fox Sports put a poll up on Twitter during yesterday's game. And they said who's going to win the NL East, and they had at the time I think 70,000 votes, 38% for the Phillies, 33% for the Braves, and everything else just kind of dropped off from there.
Yeah. I don't think the Mets are getting enough attention. Honestly, I think the Mets are going to compete this year.
Really, it makes me nervous just thinking like where are we going to win?
Well, they went out and got some bats that they badly needed, and they held on. They went out and paid not Syndergaard, the other one.
Oh man.
The guy that won the Cy Young last year. Spacing.
Me too. I'm trying to look it up here. He just recently.
DeGrom.
Yeah.
DeGrom. So they went out and paid him. I think that was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I think they were probably surprised that he stuck around even with all the money they threw him.
Yeah.
I went out and got Cano at second base. Paxton is a good starter. They got a really good reliever or closer from Seattle as well. I expect them to be right up there with the Phillies and the Nationals. I think the Braves have quietly become the third best team in that league.
Yeah.
And they won it last year.
That's what makes me nervous is like it's like the AFC South too. I mean, this is not your granddaddy's AFC South where it's just Peyton Manning and a bunch of other expansions teams. But yeah, I think for the youth, I was looking forward to watching Kyle Wright pitch. I think first inning went great, and then got a hold of one.
Yeah.
And I was talking to our guy Andy Sims, who wrote for our article at chat10sports.com today, just saying, it's going to take some time. There's going to be the inconsistencies, the positives, the negatives. It's just a part of being a young pitcher.
Yeah.
I know we were saying Bryce Wilson's 20?
21.
21? Yeah. And then Rice 23.
Big dude.
So.
He's intimidating on the mound. They said he played linebacker. He looks like a linebacker
they
up
showed
there.
some film in that game yesterday.
Really?
Yeah. And he was high school ball, but he was moving.
You can tell he's got one of those guys that's just natural ability. They said he's had a great slider, but he's really improved his changeup this past offseason. He's expecting to get a little bit more looks at the big leagues. Yeah. Maybe he might go back down to AAA once Fulte and is Newcomb, I guess, going to be in the rotation here soon as well. So we'll see, man. We'll see.
The Braves are actually up 4-0 against the Cubbies.
Ciarte just hit a homer
in the middle of the second, so we've been keeping an eye on that. But guys, obviously the Alliance of American Football, rumors are that they're tanking. They don't have the money to put payroll out. They've been in conversations. I guess they expected the NFL to try and help develop some type of developmental league. Yeah. But the NFL really has no skin in the game. But our guy, obviously, in the Memphis Express, our guy Johnny Manziel came back last week. Comes in, throws a beautiful touchdown, has a good drive. I think the next drive throws an interception. Goes to tackle the guy that picked him off, and I think he actually got knocked out, maybe made contact with his knee or head to knee kind of concussion. ended up getting taken out. And this is my take, so I'm going to throw myself out there. And if you agree or disagree, let us know. But agree or disagree, Johnny Manziel needs to hang it up.
Yeah, it's about that time. It's. I mean, if you're not just absolutely balling in the AAF, what are you doing?
What are you saying, Chase? I mean, he didn't exactly kill it in Canada either.
Sure did not.
He about got run out of town wherever the Tiger Cats are.
Yeah. I don't remember which team
Saskatchewan?
that was. Saskatchewan? Is that? Or that's the Hamilton team.
No idea.
Yeah, I don't have a clue.
But yeah, no, I think it's time to hang it up. I don't see Johnny Manziel fitting in well in Memphis.
No.
It seems like a place he might kind of get bored. It's not much of a nightlife city, and I think boredom to him is probably the worst thing that could possibly happen. You see things falling apart with his Instagram model wife. It's a wife, right? It's not a girlfriend.
Yeah. Wife.
Is she an influencer? That's a hot word now.
It is.
I think she is.
Yeah.
I don't gram. But
she takes pics of herself.
I just want you to gram so I can send you stuff. Like this dude who got bit by a snapping turtle today.
There's idiots, Kibby. You gotta see live video of these
It makes
idiots.
you feel,
guys, if it's on Instagram, it was on Reddit last week, so I'll just scroll back.
I don't know.
You want me to take this? What do you think, man?
Well, I think it's one of those things, and Gavin Jones commented on here as well, just saying, yeah, go get a real job, you spoiled punk. I think his demeanor, even on the field, I'm sure he walks in there thinking he's the biggest, baddest guy.
Oh, of course.
But I just think, obviously, I'm getting older. We're moving up in age. It's not like this. What is this dream really going to become? It's not like he's going to get back into the NFL. It's like, hey, I played, I guess, semi-professional football.
Yeah.
It's like,
I thought if he kind of held it together and took a little bit more business-like approach to his first stint in the NFL,
Yeah.
he could have been I'm not gonna say starter, but he could have had a long career as a backup.
Yeah.
I think in the NFL, and he kind of squandered that. Went up to Canada, kind of squandered that, and he just happened to land in good old Memphis, Tennessee, in the AAF. And
this is why I'm so reluctant with Kyler Murray, and obviously, thank God it's not the Titans on the number one pick having to make the decision. But it's like, there's so many variables into it. Height, I think, is a huge overlooked thing with Kyler Murray, and he has.
I think a lot of people
talent, but
thought Baker was kind of in that same boat going into last year, and the Browns traded up and got him, and then the fallout from that, you'd have thought, what's his name, Dorsey up there was.
John Dorsey.
On drugs. He's compared to some, according to some people last year, and look how it kind of panned out.
Now they got OBJ, which was a big talk of the town today. But what do you think, man? Is it time for Johnny Manziel?
Yeah, hang it up. Let it go, buddy.
Well, I'll take this last one. Actually, no. Chase, can you read a tweet from Admiral?
Yeah,
that happened last night at 11:30.
Let's find her here. It's up on our gram, right?
Yeah, on Chat 10. We posted this one today, but while he's pulling that up, obviously Rick Barnes is a little bit of a quiet. We talked about it a little bit last week in some conversations, saying
his demeanor's changed.
Yeah, he tends to sit down a little bit too much, and like we talked about before, Bruce Pearl's over there sweating up a storm. And there was a video of Popovich, Greg Popovich, getting heated.
Yeah, and Admiral first tweeted out, said, would have loved this sometime this year, saying with a little shrug emoji, and was talking. It looked as if he was talking about, I wish Rick would have done this, gotten up in the grills, even though that he did quite a bit. He did to our guys. Now it's a little different in officiating. I didn't see him do it a whole lot. He definitely didn't have the pop explosion that he had. And if you do get the chance to go watch that video, Popovich is like out on the 3-point line. Yeah, basically half court.
He's had to be restrained
by
his players and coaches. I mean, then, that's pop, though.
Yeah.
That's normal behavior. I think it's a bad look either way. I think that's what the agree disagree is.
Yeah, agree or disagree that the original, I guess Schofield backpedaled off of his original tweet, which was actually a shot at Rick Barnes.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it's a bad look, especially as a senior, especially as one that has been held up on this pedestal all year long by all the Vols fans for a good reason.
Yeah,
standing around and proving as much as he did. I just think it's not going to help his draft stock going after a former coach. That kind of shows a lack of character. Because that's all people talked about was military raising. He's
that was my thing. I told Chase. I think maybe we had a group chat going at work, but it was one of those things. Like, I believe him because of his character and his upbringing.
Cool. Let's read the secondary.
Oh,
tweet.
sorry.
We hadn't even read the
Sorry.
second. So he came back. That was what, last night at like 11:30.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was almost.
And
Yeah.
April Fool's joke.
that thread was
Blew up.
just, there was nothing good said.
Yeah.
And, now after the fact, people were coming in after he said this next tweet, which he said, "My tweet last night was not a shot at Coach Barnes, but at other coaches that are allowed to act this way in games, and my coach can't." Referencing my coach, and he shows a picture of him restraining Coach Barnes before he steps out there, because Popovich does have that tout. I mean, you're talking about the GOAT of coaches. And
Hey, what's up, dude?
Kurt's got a buddy that popped in.
nice. West Tennessee, baby. But so it's one of those that he's talking about, hey, my guy can't do this. So, but
What does he mean? I mean, why can't Coach Barnes do that?
I think it's one of those that like if Rick Barnes were to do that, especially to that
Toss.
extent,
Just
toss.
college basketball versus professional.
Well, not just
I think just the
a-
level.
it's
Like,
a coach by coach basis, because I
Yeah.
think Cal gets away with
Cal can do that.
way worse things
Gotcha.
than Rick Barnes ever could.
We're like the perfect example. Like we're the perfect size. We're that we seem like a 1 to 2 year wonder right now. Like that's the
Yeah.
perception right now. And Rick's big enough where they can make a statement,
Okay.
but
Right.
not take down a blue blood with it.
Right.
I guess
You know-
that changes my response for the simple sake of, I mean,
I didn't see the follow up tweet.
Yeah, it was this
Yeah,
one about 10
my
o'clock.
tweet's not
a
It
shot
looked
at
really
Coach
bad
Barnes.
because
Yeah.
it looked because
Yeah,
timing
it
wise
did.
and everything.
That's what I saw, and I
even
immediately
even
assumed-
like the reply tweet for the clarification tweet, it looked bad timing wise because it even looks like, wow, he's had enough time where somebody in the staff was like, hey, you need to fix this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it was at 10 o'clock. He didn't respond late last night. Obviously, he's up.
yeah.
He didn't respond late last night when people were blasting him. It was like,
Yeah.
this is a bad look. And
And I hate it. And I hope it, it's genuine. He really didn't mean anything by it.
yeah, I don't.
I mean, I think the context of what y'all are saying, like, some coaches get away with it, some don't. How much could that have impacted, I mean, that last-minute call? I don't know if he was really up in anybody's face about it, but I think, like you said, like, Calipari probably gets a little leeway with stuff. Bruce Pearl's fuming.
Bruce Pearl's
sweating balls,
just as
like,
bad as Cal when
You
it comes
know.
to that.
So, I mean, I don't think it's a Rick Barnes thing. So I think maybe it's an SEC or just
Yeah, it's a
CBB
certain
thing.
college. Yeah,
There's a style. I mean, there's a certain finesse that comes with that kind of coaching that you can push it all the way to that line time and time again and don't cross it. But
Yeah.
Barnes is, he's a lot more laid back in his older age.
Which I can appreciate, but again, I
I
get what
too.
he's saying. It's just sad that it has to be a point, whether it's refs or basketball in general. It's one of those things like just play ball and not.
Yeah.
I think like Herb Gorney said at the beginning of the show, like it should not even be in the referee's hands, to be at that point. But well, I guess that's another show in the books, gang. Thanks so much for joining to all of our new viewers, and thanks Matt Neely for jumping on here with us.
Appreciate ya.
It's been a lot of fun. Again, find us on chat10sports.com. We got a couple new articles. And speaking of Rick Barnes and Schofield, this guy wrote an awesome, kind of penned a heartfelt letter for the Vols, just signing off for a great season, a memorable season for sure.
Yep.
It's been a lot of fun on Rocky Top and watching these guys. But check that out. Also, Andy Sims with the Braves. Braves are probably, hopefully, still 4-0 right now. But have a great rest of your week. Find us on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, and Google Play Music. And have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, guys.